as compared to counseling,
Mm-hmm.
what types of issues does therapy address?
Okay. And again, we've said this last week. So many times the word counselor and therapist become synonymous with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So even therapists or even counselors will refer to themselves as a counselor, as a therapist. Like it can go either way. Now in some states you've got like actual like licensed counselors or licensed therapists where it's specific based upon what your degree was in.
So it's kind of like how criminal and politician are basically the same thing.
Spot on.
Okay.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And you can use them interchangeably.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So a counselor, we said last time, sometimes people will use the word counselor to deal with, like, the counselor is dealing with like specific issues. And so it's a specific issue that is usually for a short period of time that they're going to be working with someone through something. So again, you can have, family counseling, marriage counseling. They can be dealing with grief, and even some mental health issues. But then therapists are going to be dealing with same types of things. So you'll have family therapists, marriage therapists, the mental health therapists, grief therapists. Heck, there's even sex therapists out there. So therapy that is dealing with all those things, but often therapy is not just going to be for just that specific issue for a short period of time. It's going to be delving into like often mental health issues that derive from childhood trauma, from abuse. But it doesn't always have to be like that extreme. It could be an individual that lost a loved one or lost a child, and that could be trauma, right? Mm-hmm. But obviously not childhood trauma, but you lost a child, you lost a spouse, and you're just, it's been, 3 to 5 years, and you're still just in that deep kind of place of sorrow and grief and depression. It just seems to just be there with you constantly. Then a therapist can help you process that and walk into a place of healing. So usually therapy is going to take a little bit longer, and it's going to delve into often some deeper psychological things that are going on in an individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all those different types of therapy, do you think that all of that is legit and fine and cool? Like, I guess what I'm really asking is, as a Christian person, what do you think of sex therapy, basically?
So I think does that real? Does that
need to exist?
I think that, this is what I would say in relation to sex therapy is that if there is someone that genuinely has an issue, that's having an issue with sex, then oftentimes that is a much deeper issue than just, we're not sexually compatible or those kind of things. It's a much, so in other words, it's different. It's different than we're having, quote unquote, just trouble in the bedroom. It's, an individual is actually really struggling with being able to not only want to have sex, but to enjoy sex. And that can stem from either sexual abuse that has been in their life. It can, but I'll also say this, it can actually stem not just from abuse sexually, it could stem from you come from a very, legalistic household where sex was portrayed as something that was not a good, but an evil.
Okay.
And so it's gotten kind of locked into your mind, sex equals bad or sex equals sin. And so therefore, even though you're married and, as a Christian, all right, you're married, feel free, enjoy sex, but it's like they can't flip that switch and go from sex bad to, oh, sex is okay now. And so, and that has been an issue. So, and I'm by no means am I saying my wife and I are sex therapists, but we have had to walk with couples through this. And
through getting over that type of fear of stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
So for example, if someone was to come to me. So
it's more than just put thing in thing and.
Correct. Fun. Yeah. Okay. It's more than just like, how do we have intercourse?
Okay.
Right. It's, so for me, like if someone's to come to me and it's obvious that their issues, with sex derives from trauma or abuse, then I'm going to refer them to a professional. That's outside of my sphere. Okay?
A sex therapist.
Yeah. Or just to be honest with you, but often when you're dealing with that, let's just get them to a licensed therapist, and let's let them help work through that trauma that they had as a child, as a teenager, whatever it may be, or even maybe they were raped as a young adult. All those things can be there. But if they're coming to us and it's clear that their issue is not from abuse, not from sexual assault or anything like that, but is actually, hey, we grew up in this really legalistic church, or even maybe they just heard it a certain way. Maybe the church wasn't legalistic, but their parents were, or whatever it may be. Then I feel completely comfortable, and so does my wife, talking with them through that and helping them to see what we would call a healthy biblical sexual ethic.